wanted to talk about something for a little bit here. Just a heads up, I'm going to be walking through this whole video, so if you want to avoid getting dizzy, tab this or something and, go do something else while you're listening to it, because I'm going to be walking the whole time. I want to talk about the, I guess I want to try and expand on a theory of, how the universe could be expanding. And I guess basically, how it's theorized, one of the theories is that the universe is ever expanding, and one day it might reach, I guess you could say, a limit and retract. I'm not going to get too much into that. You can research that on your own later. And honestly, all I have is a basic concept. I'm not some theoretical quantum physicist. Don't have all the answers, and I'm definitely not going to claim to. But I figured I wanted to share just this little tidbit. So, I think that theory may be possible. I'm not going to say any of the other theories might be impossible either as to how our existence will end on the universe. But as far as that theory, I think there may not, theoretically, that may not be a valid option as to how our universe would end. Let me explain it like this. So, say, there's something, we consider our universe to be expanding in a flat direction, straightforward. But we also consider that it might actually, theoretically, be curved. We don't know for sure. We theorize it might actually even be a circle. But we don't have the, I guess you could say, mathematical equations in order to find a measurement small enough that could measure whether or not our universe curves at some point. But say we do, I like to think of it in terms of, if we do, there is a possibility that theoretically the universe could in turn expand forever without theoretically expanding at all at any given one point in time. Now, it's like this. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos on YouTube, but there's videos basically explaining how theoretically you could turn a ball inside and out of itself. Well, say we find that length one day, and we find out that the universe is curved into some form of ball or curved shape. Perhaps that's kind of how it works. Perhaps the universe threads in and even through itself at a certain point, almost like infinitesimally, like an infinitesimal circle. Now, you may be saying, well, that's impossible, because you can't expand matter into other matter. But you don't have to. Because with other discoveries of science, we now know there may be up to at least 11 other dimensions, including time itself. Which means, theoretically, say you have a universe that's indefinitely expanding into itself. Well, no one per se can tell you whether or not it's expanding into itself in our own time. It's like this. Theoretically, if there's some, I guess, anomaly zone in our own universe, and it is a sphere that's infinitely expanding into itself, perhaps we will find anomalies in our own time in certain areas. So theoretically, we find an anomaly where it's almost like time travel, but with matter. So, say somewhere out in the universe, time travel has been naturally occurring throughout the ages. And therefore, say the universe is expanding into one of these zones. So theoretically, the universe could be expanding into a different time altogether, whether in our past or now. And thereby, it's more of an infinity. Because if it expands into the past, then then it will become what expands in the future. Or right now, so to speak. If it expands in the future, then it may one day back enter the past. So theoretically, it would be like an infinitely expanding ball via crossing through other dimensions, more or less which are affected by laws that other dimensions aren't. So therefore, it's more of a infinity expanding paradox, but it may or may not be a paradox. So theoretically, and again, I don't have all the details. I don't spend much time on science outside of, looking up videos every once in a while of what interests me. But theoretically, we might be interdimensionally, universal, infinitely expanding, constantly reversing ball as a universe. Meaning other dimensions, meaning the actual universe may perhaps thread through other universes. But that also, I guess, kind of gets me excited a little. Because say that could be possible, and it means that, we've already theorized that, I believe it's wormholes, could theoretically transport matter into a different time when that wormhole was created. Perhaps these anomalies create wormholes as well. And say our universe expands into that. And that's basically what happens when a star explodes. It becomes a giant wormhole that pulls matter into it. So perhaps that, I don't know much about white holes, but theoretically I've heard they're opposite of it. Perhaps that's the other end. One of them is the future, one of them is the past. Perhaps it's something like that. I'm not a scientist. I don't know too much about it, but I figure, might as well record this for authenticity. Thanks for listening. Catch you later.